On Ice Hockey UK TV in association with SMP Europe. I'm delighted to be joined by GB head coach Mike Clancy. Mike, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for the time, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Let's just start, first of all, with what you're preparing for. I mean, you're preparing all the time, but right round the corner is the Four Nations in Denmark. How important is this tournament in the scheme of things of your busy year?
It's a huge platform, to be quite honest. It's the final preparation for World Championships. And on top of that, as we've said before, it's a huge opportunity to broaden the depth in the squad by bringing some of the younger players through and some new players that you'll see in the Four Nations coming around this time.
You've teed me up there because you talk about the younger players. It's a great mix, isn't it, of experience and younger players. But how impressed were you with the under-18 silver medal earlier on this month?
Yeah, how I'd wish that would have been gold. And I think in any other year, we all know that would have been gold. Really impressed. A few of them have been with us quite regularly from a senior camp point of view. Obviously, we've got a huge connection with Sean driving and leading some of that for us as well from an under-18s point. So the connectivity between the two groups is really there. And, you know, there's 3 or 4 exciting youngsters that can start to really push on for places in this senior team.
How important is that connectivity? Because you go through the age groups and obviously the ultimate aim is to represent the GB women's team, that connectivity through the program. How key is this in building the future of the women's program?
Well, I think establishing the style of play that we want to play in to enable us to compete is really, really important to start with. And then having all of the age groups doing the same things makes it really, really easy to start slotting people in different positions. So connectivity in the way that we do things, the style of play that we're looking for, the tempo that we're competing at, and the skill level, I think it all connects really, really well.
Just going back to the Four Nations, you're playing 2 teams that you're going to be in a World Championship group with, but how much are you looking forward to testing a top-ranked nation in playing Denmark?
You know, thoroughly enjoyed it last time round, and that's not going to be any different. The most exciting game that we'll play when we're out there is going to be against the Denmark national team. They're now in the top 10, aren't they? Competing at the highest level. So to pitch yourselves in that mix and see how we compete and see what systems we can bring up to make it difficult for them, I think it's all good learnings for us.
Where do you think that the women's program are at the moment? Because obviously you had that fabulous promotion in your first year in charge. Maybe last year was consolidation, perhaps in Division 1B. How high? I mean, again, I'm putting you a bit on the spot, but how high are the aims now going forward for the program?
I think it hasn't changed. We came into this, Chris, with a 5-year plan of where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. Part of that would adapt to consolidation. Part of that would adapt to bringing the right players through to enable us to sustain the plan that we were planning to get on. For me, Division 1A is absolutely the plan. The goal is still there. I think we now start to have a compete level from those U18s and U16s mixes coming through that will enable us, if we can get there, to sustain and maintain that position and opportunity. But it's not changed. We're still quite focused on that plan, working really hard with the group that we've got. We're expanding that the level of people or the amount of people in the pool of players that we can choose from and pick from. And it is really, really exciting to see the women's team play at the minute.
Yeah, just finally, you're talking about expanding. Last week, we announced a long list with 30 odd players on there. You know, those players, I guess, does it in many ways just show the depth? Because you're going to have to cut that down. You've already cut it down for the Four Nations. You'll have to cut it to 22, of course, for the World Championship. Does that kind of signify that the depth?
It does, and although some of those players right now aren't ready for the World Championships, actually they're getting a great blood in of playing international hockey at a high level, and maybe they'll prove us wrong when we're out there that actually they have got the skill set and have competed and adapted really well. We have a number of youngsters coming through that sort of gap between 18 and 20, where you start to compete at a bit of a different level and learn the game that little bit more. I don't want to lose that. So it's important that we keep some of those youngsters through that are coming in. I mean, I look at Jessica Sproul's and I look at Elizabeth Saunders, two new names that are coming into it. Actually, they've been with us for a little while, you know, really competing and around the group. Now it's an opportunity for them to come away and get some experience in a different country.
Brilliant. Listen, it's been great catching up with you, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks ever so much, Chris.